Hi, we're coming to you from Vectors 2019 in Orlando, Florida, and with me this morning, one of our keynoters here at Vectors, Keenan. Keenan, welcome.
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Doing great, thank you. So, we're here talking with SkySwitch, a lot of their partners, and really it's all about how to create more business, more sales opportunities for them. What kinds of things are you seeing happening in the sales space that are either causing problems or creating efficiencies?
Look, most people really don't understand sales. They think it's about pitching a product and it's thinking about, ooh, I have this widget and I want you to buy my widget. And that might work in some industries and it might work when your widget could be slightly different than someone else's. But when you're selling something like this, all your partners, everybody who's a SkySwitch partner and has built a business around SkySwitch is selling the same shit. Same shit everybody else is selling. So you can't just walk out there and be like, check out my product, check out my shiny widget, because it's really not that shiny in comparison to every other partner you're competing with. So they got to learn to sell like what I call problem-centric selling, and learn to understand the problems of the customers and stop focusing on the product.
So as a company, how do you make, or what do you suggest companies do to make that kind of a transition from product to problem-centric selling?
They got to educate the team, right? So when you think about this, the average company spends a lot of time and money educating the sales team on the product. This is these features, and this is what it does, and this is how it comes together, and check out all this cool technology, and then send the salesperson out. How much time do they actually spend teaching them about the business of the companies they sell to? How do they use this technology? What parts of their business does it affect, whether it's from profit, whether it's from market acquisition? Each company uses communication differently. Let's remember, this is about communication, right? So how are they using those communication tools to move their business, to connect with their customers? What is in the critical path? What isn't in the critical path? What is in the critical path for some industries, but not in the critical path for other industries? I mean, you really got to teach the sales team to be business experts and elevate their business acumen so they can have actually business conversations with their buyers and not product conversations.
Who needs to be driving this kind of a transition at companies?
Look, ideally, the company, the sales organization, marketing, it all needs to be together, right? Marketing does, sales does, and so your head of operations needs to be driving that. However, 9 out of 10 times they don't, so if your sales organization isn't doing it, the salesperson can do it. There's nothing keeping a salesperson from going out and learning what it takes to actually engage with a business. There's nothing that keeps them from understanding business acumen and understanding who they're selling to and creating a list of, I sell to these 4, 5, 6 industries, this industry runs their business like this industry runs their business like this, these are things that are important to them, these are things they measure, these are the metrics. You can do it yourself. So really at the end of the day, it's the business's job. But fuck it, if the business isn't going to do it, you go do it as a salesperson. Don't let the business hold you back.
How easy is it for a sales team or an individual sales rep to do that kind of a transition?
That's a loaded question, my man. That's a loaded question. It's not easy, but it's not rocket science. It takes two things, commitment and understanding, right? So the reason I go, ugh, a lot of organizations just aren't smart enough. They don't have the wherewithal. Their culture is too technology focused. Their culture is too engineering focused, and they just can't figure that piece out. So it's going to be hard for them. For other organizations who have a higher EQ and understand that at the end of the day, whether it's phone systems, whether it's freaking Twitter, whether it's a tripod, that's a tool. And that tool is there to enable some sort of outcome. Those who understand the concept of outcomes and business outcomes and how people leverage tools and engineering and things to drive an outcome, they'll get it faster.
What do you like about presenting a keynote at an event like this?
It's fun to get people riled up. I don't fuck around. Like, I go after it, right? So it's just fun to watch people get riled up, learn something new, engage with you, and think to themselves, at the end, come up and say, man, I'm going to change the way I did this. I'm going to change something. And if you get someone to say they're changing something, that's a win.
One last question for you. Why do you refer to yourself as Chief Antagonist?
Because I think you can't have change, right, without antagonizing. Think about a washer, right? How does a washer actually work, right? How does it get dirty clothes clean? It antagonizes them, right? It messes them all up, pushes them around, and all that type of thing. So same type of thing. I'm all about change, right? I'm all about growth and change. Well, you cannot change unless you're willing to antagonize the status quo, and that's where it comes from.
Excellent. Well, Keenan, thank you so much for being here this morning and for joining us at Vectors 2019.
You got it, baby. My pleasure.